Theodore Robert Bundy was one of the most studied and notorious serial killers in American history. Between 1974 and 1978, he confessed to killing more than 30 young women across 7 states. This is the factual timeline of his life, crimes, and capture, told exactly as it happened. Segment 1. Early life. Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His birth certificate listed his father as unknown. He was raised in Philadelphia by his grandparents, believing his mother was his sister. In 1950, Bundy moved with his mother to Tacoma, Washington, after she married Johnny Bundy. Friends from childhood later described him as socially awkward, but intelligent. Bundy himself admitted in interviews that he began developing violent sexual fantasies in his teenage years, though he denied harming anyone at that time. Schema 2. Education in early adulthood. In the late 1960s, Bundy attended the University of Puget Sound and later transferred to the University of Washington to study psychology. He was considered intelligent and well-spoken. In 1973, he was accepted into law school at the University of Utah, but never completed his degree. During these years, Bundy worked and volunteered in political campaigns and even at a suicide prevention hotline. Several co-workers, including crime author Ann Rule, would later recall that he seemed kind, empathetic, and trustworthy. Segment 3. Murders began. Bundy's confirmed murder spree began in January 1974 in the Seattle area. His first known attack was on 18-year-old Karen Sparks, who survived but suffered permanent injuries. His first confirmed murder victim was Linda Ann Healy, who disappeared from her home in February 1974. Over the next months, Bundy abducted and killed multiple women in Washington and Oregon. He often approached them in public places, pretending to be injured, using a sling or crutches, and asking for help. Witnesses reported him introducing himself as Ted. By mid-1974, the disappearances of Janice O.T.T. and Denise Naslund from Lake Sammamish State Park provided police with a description: a clean-cut man in his 20s driving a Volkswagen Beetle. Segment 4. Moving between states. In September 1974, Bundy enrolled in law school in Utah. That fall, young women began disappearing in Utah and Colorado. Known victims during this time included Melissa Smith and Laura Aim. Bundy was arrested in Utah in August 1975 after a routine traffic stop. Inside his car, police found a ski mask, crowbar, and handcuffs. Though initially held on charges related to the kidnapping of Carol Durant, who had escaped him, Bundy was soon connected to multiple murder cases. Segment 5. Escaped from custody in June 1977. Bundy escaped from a courthouse in Aspen, Colorado, by jumping out of a second-story window. He was recaptured after 6 days. In December of that same year, he escaped again, this time from the Garfield County Jail, by cutting a hole in the ceiling of his cell. He fled to Florida, where he began using the name Chris Hagen. Segment 6. Florida Crimes. On January 15, 1978, Bundy entered the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. Within about 15 minutes, he attacked 4 women, killing Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy. Less than an hour later, he attacked Cheryl Thomas in her home nearby. 2 weeks later, Bundy abducted and murdered 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, his last known victim. Segment 7. Arrest, trial, and execution. Bundy was arrested on February 15, 1978, after being stopped in Pensacola while driving a stolen car. In 1979, he was tried and convicted for the Chi Omega murders and sentenced to death. In 1980, he received another death sentence for the murder of Kimberly Leach. Bundy eventually confessed to killing 30 women in total. But investigators believe there may have been more victims. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair at Florida State Prison. Crowds gathered outside the prison, cheered as the execution was carried out. Ted Bundy's case became a turning point in the study of criminal psychology in serial murder investigations. His ability to blend into society and gain trust before killing its victims serves as a warning that the most dangerous predators often hide in plain sight. Segment 8. Final days and execution in the hours leading up to his death. Bundy spoke with religious broadcaster James Dobson, expressing remorse, and spent the night in prayer with the minister. During this final interview, Bundy claimed that violent pornography had fueled his fantasies, a statement some viewed as an attempt to redirect responsibility away from himself. Others saw it as a last-minute attempt to explain, if not justify, the darkness that had consumed his life. He was calm that night, more subdued than in previous years when he had used every possible legal maneuver to delay his execution. Guards noted that Bundy appeared reflective, even resigned, as the hours slipped away. Outside the prison, the atmosphere was tense, yet strangely celebratory. Hundreds of people had gathered, some holding signs that read, "Burn, Bundy, burn," while others camped out overnight to witness the end of one of America's most infamous killers. Vendors even sold t-shirts, buttons, and refreshments, creating a surreal, carnival-like mood that contrasted sharply with the grim reality inside the prison walls. Bundy's final words were, "Jem and Fred, I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends." He did not address his victims' families directly, nor did he offer an unqualified confession of his crimes. At 7:06 a.m., he was strapped into the electric chair. Witnesses in the viewing room observed as the current surged through his body. At 7:16 a.m., he was pronounced dead. Outside, cheers erupted from the waiting crowd, signaling the close of a dark chapter in American history. Segment 9. Psychological profile. Ted Bundy's psychological profile has been a subject of extensive study. He was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, characterized by a lack of empathy, remorse, and a propensity for manipulative behavior. His intellect, charm, and ability to project normalcy made him exceptionally dangerous, allowing him to lure victims without arousing suspicion. Biographer Ann Rule characterized Bundy as a sadistic sociopath who took pleasure from another human's pain and the control he had over his victims, to the point of death and even after. Bundy once described himself as the most cold-hearted son of a bitch you'll ever meet, a chilling self-assessment with which attorney Polly Nelson, a member of his last defense team, agreed. She wrote, "Ted was the very definition of heartless evil." Behavioral analysts, including FBI agents Howard Teeton and Robert Ressler, noted Bundy's remarkable adaptabilities, chameleon-like ability to blend into any environment and earn trust before striking. He meticulously planned his attacks, often using ruses such as wearing a cast or sling to appear vulnerable. This calculated deception allowed him to approach potential victims without setting off alarm bells. Despite his charisma and intelligence, his behavior was driven by a compulsive need for power and control. These were not crimes of passion. They were methodical, deliberate acts born from a deeply disturbed psyche. Segment 10. Legacy and cultural impact. Ted Bundy's case became a turning point in the study of criminal psychology and serial murder investigations. His life and crimes forced both law enforcement and the public to confront the uncomfortable truth that the most dangerous predators can be the least suspicious individuals, charming, articulate, and seemingly respectable. Bundy's actions prompted changes in how police departments across the United States handled missing persons cases, contingency, communication, and behavioral profiling. His case played a significant role in the development of modern criminal profiling techniques used by the FBI and other agencies to identify and track serial offenders. The fascination with Bundy has persisted for decades, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and films. Some focus on the psychology behind his crimes, while others serve as cautionary tales about trusting strangers for victims' rights advocates. Bundy's case has been a rallying point to push for stronger protections and public awareness campaigns, particularly for young women traveling alone. Even in death, Ted Bundy remains a subject of study and debate, symbolizing both the darkest extremes of human nature and the need for vigilance in a world where evil can wear a friendly face. His legacy is one of horror, fascination, a constant reminder of the hidden threats that can lurk behind the most ordinary appearances.